Hi, this is Murray from Second Time Tech, and today I'm going to be doing part 2 of the computer build, and today it's going to be about memory, and just a little talk about Ryzen and memory. It's a little different between Intel and AMD for memory on the CPUs. And on Ryzen, it needs faster memory. The thing was, whenever Ryzen first came out, the Ryzen 1000 series, they had it basically set to a max of 2666 megahertz. But over time, with testing and with BIOS updates, they've had better success with faster memory. And basically now you can go all the way up to at least 3200 megahertz RAM. But when I bought the RAM, it was still 2666, and I did overclock my RAM to 2800 megahertz, which ran fine. And I will show you how to do that later in the videos. And so now what I would suggest is get the fastest RAM that you can afford, or that you can find on sale for whatever price you have in mind. Get the fastest RAM that you can actually afford, because it will make your system run better. Especially with the APU that we're using now, because it has the CPU and the graphics built into it. So that means that it has to share the system RAM. And graphics likes to have fast memory, because like if you look at graphics cards, they're always saying that it's GDDR5 or GDDR6 or like the newest ones. And what you're putting inside on your motherboard is just DDR4. So that RAM is faster that's on your graphics cards. If you get faster RAM than 2666 megahertz, then it will help the graphics run faster, and it will help the CPU run faster. Now, because I bought 2666 megahertz, I went out and I got a second 8 gig stick on the Ballistic Tactical RAM, because there's certain slots that you have to put the memory in on your motherboard so that it will run in dual channel mode, and the CPU will find it faster, is basically what it is. And that information is going to be in your manual for your motherboard. So you look at that and it will tell you which ones to use. So anyway, that's basically all that I wanted to talk about on the RAM. So what I'm going to do now is I will open my kit of RAM. And on the Ballistic one, it comes in a nice little package like this here. And when I was talking about static electricity there on the last one, this plastic is also static proof, or static resistant, I should say, plastic. So keep them in there until you're ready to install them on the motherboard. There now, hopefully that's a little bit better to see than last time. And I will again lift this up here so that you can have just a little better view of it. So you've got 4 memory slots right there. And when you look in the motherboard book or manual for this motherboard, basically what they're telling you for your first 2 modules of memory to get it into dual channel mode is you use, if you count them like as 1, 2, 3, 4, you use number 1 and number 3. And basically there's like a little rocker right there on the, like a little rocker latch, and it's, you just push it down, and then I would leave the next one up and then pull the third one down so that you remember like which one you're supposed to be putting the modules in. Then leave those 2 alone. On this side here, some motherboards you do have to do the rocker on this side, but this one you don't. It only latches on one side. And what that does, that latch there, is it locks the memory module in place. And basically what it's doing is, if you can see this, I'm not positive, but there's 2 little notches here and here. And what this latch does is it goes into one of those and then it holds the memory down in place. Now, your memory module, if you look at it, there is a notch right there. Now, this is DDR4 RAM. And you have to use DDR4 RAM on this motherboard. The notch on it and the amount of pins is going to stop you from using any other type of memory module except a DDR4 memory module on this motherboard. And if you look at it closely, there are more pins on this side than there are on this side. So it's not right in the center. So it is keyed and it will only go in one way. Now, the spot where the notch goes is right here, is a little piece of plastic that is on each of the memory slots to correspond with that little notch right there. What I've found most of the time is the little stickers always face away from the CPU. That's what I've found most of the time. So what I would do is I would take this here, put the labels on the back, and then just line it up like this here, like in between the 2, and then just have a look and see. And if you look, you'll see that it's really close. The notch is really close to that piece of plastic. So that means that it's going to go in that way. If you turn it around, it's like off 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch. So you can really tell if it's going in the wrong way. So there is a little slot on each side, okay? And so you put the board of your memory module, and you put it into that groove. I think I said groove. I don't know what word I said there last time. And what you want to do is you want to just push it down so that it's just resting on the top of the slot. Then what you're going to do is you're going to push down, and when you push down, this is going to come up automatically and lock itself into there. So you're going to listen for a little click. So we'll push it down, and what I do is I go on both ends and then push straight down. And you could hear, I heard a click on this side and a click on this side. And now it is straight up into there, so I know it's gotten into the little notch. Then you take your second one, and then you're going to put it in on the third one on this motherboard. So basically the same thing. The labels to the back, or away from the CPU, I should say. Line it up in those little grooves, and then get it down to sit down on top. There. And then the same thing. Put that and straight down. And there. Now that time, it didn't actually make that much of a noise, but sometimes it does and sometimes it doesn't. If that happens, take your finger and just go across the two and see if they're the same height. And if they feel like they're the same height, then, like all the way across, then you're probably seated okay. There's no problem in going like this, just to make sure, but everything's fine, because they felt like they were exactly in the right place, and they are. So that's basically how you put memory into a motherboard. And I will lift it up there just so that you can see. And there it is sitting there. And like I said, my memory modules are 8 gigs. The 4 gigs are exactly the same size physically. It's just the amount of RAM that is on the board inside there that decides if it's a 4 gig or a 8 gig or a 16 gig module. So basically that's it, but they still install the same way. So on the next video, what I'm going to be is installing the cooler on top of the CPU, and then I'll be mounting the motherboard into the case, and that'll be I guess in 2 days from now. So if you liked the video, thumbs up. If you didn't like the video, thumbs down. I want to wish everybody a wonderful day. Thank you very much for watching and listening. Bye.